Everybody on here as we go into getting YouTube ready to go. So I want to welcome everybody. It's another week. It's a brand new month. Where has the time gone? It is June the 3rd. It is Monday. It is just before 10 o'clock Eastern time here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is Weather Overtime. This is our online video weather blog meant to give you, the viewer, an opportunity to talk about what's going on with the weather situation. We're usually on here for about 20-30 minutes every weeknight, and for longer periods of time if and when things are a little bit more in the way of active for severe weather. Now, that's not happening. There is the potential of some severe weather coming our way tomorrow, but it looks like for Tuesday we're not seeing a lot of problems, so definitely some good news where that's concerned, but we will continue again to watch and see what may be happening. The chances of anything involving severe weather are pretty much on the limited side at this point, but again, we want to make certain everybody's aware that we could see the potential of some issues out there, so stay tuned and we'll keep you updated on that. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick. Again, this is Weather Overtime. Stick around for a few minutes. If you're just tuning in on Twitch, maybe for the first time, welcome to the show. Welcome to everybody who has signed up in the last few days to follow along. Likewise, all those showing up on our YouTube channel. That's for YouTube at WDEF News 12. If you'd like to watch there, I'll be posting this to my YouTube page coming up here, and you can find me on all of these websites with the exception of Post. I'll have to remove that because Post closed up shop over the weekend, but you can find me on Discord if you'd like to ask any questions about what's going on with weather there, and of course email address at the bottom of the screen at aonick@wdef.com. If you've got questions, go ahead and put them into the chat mode. We'd love to be able to see what you're seeing out there for picture purposes, and we'd like to be able to see a little bit more as to what you have any questions about. So we'd really love to be able to see a little bit more about what's going on with you. And for tonight, little if anything really going to be setting up in the possibility of giving us any major problems. We did have some thunderstorms out there for tonight. Earlier on, none of that is happening at this point, so definitely some good news for now, but that will be changing as we get into and around the area for the next few days. There is the possibility also of some weather coming up relatively soon that could be on the hotter side, but I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of anything in the way of heat wave territory. It is possible that we could see some 90s fairly soon, and we've been to 90 degrees once as we got into last Sunday, not yesterday, but the week before. We did manage to make it into the Memorial Day weekend of 90 degrees. That was the first and I think the only time so far this year, 2024, that we have done anything in the way of actual 90s across the area. So that's very good news. Now, whether or not that changes anytime soon, we'll let you know about that. But for right now, I think we've got some decently warm and humid weather coming up, but that's going to be about it. All right, that's it. Enough exponentiating here. Let's go ahead and get into it and show you what we've got. Very close to normal, 85, spot on for the high. A little bit warmer than the low temperature, 96, the record high that hasn't been broken since 1998, and a record low, that would feel nice, that hasn't been broken since 1956. Dry today. That rain we picked up over the weekend brought us right back to normal for this time of the year, and for the month of May, we finished up with quite the surplus. We've got a surplus of about half an inch or so, so we're not doing too bad on that for the time being, but we may see more potential problems coming up later on. Taking a look at what's going on with the astronomical data, sunrise tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning at 6:27, sunset at 8:52, 14 hours, 22 minutes of daylight for today. The moon is a waning crescent. That'll be rising tomorrow morning right before sunrise. Sliver of the moon visible, and setting at about 7:16 tomorrow evening. So not seeing a lot of the moon just yet. We'll be going toward new moon in the next couple of days. Outdoors in the next few days, this is going to be a very similar forecast to where we see more potential of showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening. That'll be our best potential out there for what we could see across portions of the area. So again, not seeing a lot early on, but could be, again, the potential of some problems, starting off with rain showers during the morning, and then going through the rest of the day, better chances of thunderstorms as we go through midday. And again, this is what, again, we'll be seeing the possibility for the next several days out there. So if you have any plans for outdoors, and that includes on the golf course, the last place you want to be is on a broad, flat surface with lightning off in the distance, holding a metal rod with metal cleats on your feet. That's not good news, not a great idea. So for what we could see at this time, that's going to be the worst potential of everything. If you're worried about storms, we'll talk about storm anxiety coming up here in just a little bit. We do not have anything going on in the way of rain. All of that has diminished across the area. Most of these pulse-type thunderstorms were dependent on the sun boiling up the lower portions of the atmosphere. Hopefully we get some good time lapses here. We'll see if we can get some of those posted here in just a little bit to show you more about what those look like. But our storms from earlier just not picking up that much. We do have some showers and the occasional lightning strike between Atlanta and Gainesville right along, and mainly, well, either side of I-85 down toward Atlanta, but we don't see anything huge. And those storms that were up around portions of North Carolina, most of those have basically fallen apart. A couple lightning strikes north of I-40, northwest of Asheville, but beyond that, the News 12 viewing area is pretty much cleaned out from everything. For those of you who are not familiar with our station or this area, this is our broadcast, what is called DMA, Dominant Market Area, Southeast Tennessee, extreme western North Carolina, northwest and a little bit of north central Georgia, and the two northeasternmost counties in Alabama. So this is the News 12 viewing area, with Chattanooga smack there in the middle pretty much, right where 24, 75, and 59 interstates come together, and that is our viewing area. So in case you've never been here before or wondered where we were coming from, that's our location that you can see right there. Let's go ahead and see what's going on again into and around the area for right now. We did have some decently heavy showers, mainly just northwest of the viewing area. That has since changed, and 2475 south central Chattanooga, dry, a lot of humidity showing up, a lot of not mist, but humidity and dust and smoke and pollution in the street lights for tonight. Again, that's from our Tomahawk crane and rigging camera. Again, a decent view. Don't know if we have, we were watching the thunderstorms go across here. We'll see if we can get a good time lapse for you. But from the Patriot concrete camera downtown from News 12 Studios, looking back toward the west-northwest, Lookout Mountain back over in this area for tonight. Let's take a farther view. Lee Point. Again, our Patriot concrete camera from News 12 downtown. Lookout Mountain, you can just barely see it over here. We were watching that thunderstorm off to the west, and that, again, that system making its way over and basically, for all intents and purposes, falling apart. Plainview outdoor advertising camera from 153 and 64 highway. You can see some of the traffic down there beneath the logo bar, but right now, very much on the quiet side. We were supposed to be able, let's see, 920, yeah, we were going to be able to see the Tiangong space station tonight. It was dim and very well down on the southern horizon, so I wonder if anybody got a chance to see that for earlier this evening. But good stargazing for the most part, getting rid of most of those clouds, and should be seeing some mostly clear skies throughout the course of the rest of tonight. But the chances of rain will be back with us once again. And from our downtown camera, Well, Speedy's Total Car Care on the North Shore, right across from downtown, across the Tennessee River. Excuse me, looking at a lot of folks out there today, a lot of frisbee being tossed around, a lot of folks on the footbridge, a few folks out for a stroll tonight, and the occasional bike ride, but otherwise not doing totally terrible for the time being. Temperatures out there at the airport back into the mid-60s, and continuing to see some very mild conditions for now, and probably not going to get anything even close to cool anytime soon. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. Let's take a look and see what's going on right now. Big picture is looking like this. We do have, again, winds out of the southeast to the south. That's all part of our latest storm system. Back to the west of us, helping to escort in some of that moisture. High pressure off the east coast also helping to lend itself to pushing that moisture back up our direction. Now, we do have, again, a decent amount of showers and thunderstorms back to the west of us. It does not look like that is going to be a major problem for tonight, but it looks like we'll have a gap for the possibility of some thunderstorms lingering out of the picture. Some of these could make their way into the area as rain showers, but it looks like thunderstorms are pretty much done while we're speaking about this, about 10 o'clock Eastern time. Matter of fact, it is just about a minute before 10 o'clock, so we'll be switching over on the time here in just a second. But for right now, things are looking pretty quiet, but we could pick up some remnant showers out there for the rest of the evening. Now, we do have those next possibility of thunderstorms coming on through with the potential of more of these systems back to the west of us moving on through. So showers, early thunderstorms tomorrow, and then more potential of thunderstorms as we go through Tuesday afternoon. That could be a problem. We'll explain why in just a little bit. Those systems get a little bit closer to us. More potential of showers and thunderstorms Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, widely scattered. Where the sunshine is and the clouds are not, that is where we could see some temperatures bumping up to the high 80s around Atlanta, to the lower 90s, Macon, Montgomery, and Birmingham. Very much on the toasty side there. Through about Thursday, we'll be getting rid of most of that rainfall after some morning showers and thunderstorms as that front moves through by Thursday or so. And then Thursday afternoon could be a lingering shower or thunderstorm out there, and most of that should be gone by very early Friday morning. After that, we start to see some dry conditions out there, a lot better conditions, drier, hopefully a little bit more comfortable, and we won't be getting too much in the way of huge amounts of humidity, but it will also be very much on the humid side between here and the end of the week. Now, here's what we're looking for into tomorrow. Now, this forecast, again, is several hours old. This was issued probably somewhere around noon or so today from the Storm Prediction Center, which issues these severe risk forecasts. The key is up here in the top right-hand corner of your screen. On a scale of 1 to 5, this is about a 1, and what we're looking at is in the far western counties. This is where we see the potential of some potential of thunderstorms out there. It does not look to be anything huge. It is a possibility of severe weather. Let's go in a little bit farther. Let me see, where did it go? Here we go. This is what we're going to be seeing into tomorrow. And again, this is a very old forecast, so this will be updating by about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. This is where we're seeing the potential of severe weather. Northeast Alabama and extreme southern middle Tennessee, west of Chattanooga. That is where we see that marginal threat of severe weather. So it is possible we could see some damaging winds, large hail. It doesn't look like a threat for tornadoes, but it is something we need to pay attention to. Could this increase to a slight risk? Yes. Could it totally go away? We have no severe weather, but we have thunderstorms? Yes. In this environment, with that storm system closing in, I think it's possible that we will see the continuation of this for now, but we'll wait and see just what the Storm Prediction Center has to say about this. Then we'll have an idea as to what's going on. In the meantime, for everybody in the News 12 viewing area, yes, that includes North Carolina, Georgia, Southeast Tennessee, up until those state lines right there. If I was in the News 12 viewing area, south of I-40, north of Atlanta, from Huntsville back over to North Carolina, I would watch this situation just to be on the safe side. We pretty much have gotten into the summer season. School is out, except for those schools that may have had some winter weather days out there that they had to make up. Graduation ceremonies are going on, stuff like that. That is going to be the main thing for right now that we're looking at. That could be a bit of a problem. Again, for outdoor stuff happening, I don't know if Vacation Bible School has really kicked in just yet, but if I was in charge of any outdoor activities in the next couple of days, I would watch this very carefully and stay tuned to News 12 as we bring you updates on what we might be looking at. So just to be on the safe side, I would continue to be weather aware and stay tuned again for more information about what might be happening our direction out there. All right, so we are picking up some stars. We are seeing a little bit of those dots of light out there, some cloud cover at this time. I should mention this is the Island Cove Marina and Resort webcam. All of our webcams are available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. If you'd like to get there, go to our website. It's at the bottom of the screen, wdef.com/weather, if you'd like to see a little bit more about what's available and what you can see through our webcams out there. So please take a look and see what's available. Here's what we're looking at over the next several days. We've got the potential, again, that marginal threat of severe weather that may go away or increase or stay the same. We'll keep you updated on that as we go throughout the next several days. We see temperatures approaching 90 by the time we hit about Thursday, and then we get that gap into the first part of the weekend. Showers and thunderstorms possible from Sunday into around Monday, and then continuing into about the midpoint of June. We'll be hitting Flag Day by Friday of next week, so we're almost at that midpoint, about a couple of weeks away. Then we see again some temperatures dropping into the weekend, lower to mid 80s. That's just a bit below normal for this time of the year, so not doing too bad on the numbers. Again, hopefully it stays that way. I would rather try to avoid anything in the way of anything really heat wave territory coming up, so that would be a very good idea. Respect of Orange on Twitch. Welcome to the stream chat. Thanks a lot for checking in. And again, thanks to everybody on Twitch for signing up and following along. Glad to have all the new viewers out there. Thank you very much. Really does great to be able to have everybody on board for that. And if you like what you see, go ahead and spread the word about our website if you could, and that'll help to get more people on board here. A couple of holidays to talk about. Of course, Wednesday, my co-anchor, Andrew Harrison, his favorite day coming up is International Corgi Day, and he's got a Corgi back at House Harrison. Funsible, forget the name of it, but it starts with an F. So, and I believe that Andrew's dog ran in the Corgi races down at Fort Oglethorpe, I want to say, a couple of days ago. So happy World Corgi Day there. It is also from the United Nations Environment Program, World Environment Day. That's very cool to take a look at the various environments around the world, from coral reefs to mangrove swamp areas to bogs to rainforests to deserts to Arctic tundra. All of those support various types of wildlife and are several reasons why we need to keep our planet as healthy as possible. Following on that, Saturday, June the 8th, World Oceans Day, and this whole month is World Oceans Month. A good opportunity to learn more about what's going on and how all of us, you and me included, can help protect Earth's oceans. So a good opportunity to learn more about how to protect the oceans, what tiny little steps all of us can do to help out on that, from contacting your elected officials to not using balloons for celebrations, which can drift into the water supply, and we can have various life forms try to eat stuff like that, including sea turtles. A deflated balloon in the ocean looks an awful lot like a jellyfish, and that's what a lot of species survive on. So there's a lot of things we all can do to help out on that. Coming up a little bit later on, toward the end of the month, June 30th, is Asteroid Day, celebrated around the world on the anniversary of what was called the Tunguska event. That, again, will be coming up several days away, but we'll talk a lot more about that in the course of the next several days, because It's important to have a strong space program for humanity, not just for an entire nation or one or two nations out there. It's important to have a lot of people working on the space program. It's important to talk up mathematics, science, technology, environmentalism, anything that can help us preserve life on this planet, and also look at threats to that coming in from outside of our planet. If you'd like to know more about that, Brian May, the lead guitarist for Queen, one of my favorite rock bands, is involved with this, along with a lot of other celebrities, scientists, astronauts, and that's going to be a really neat thing to talk about over the next several weeks. So got plenty, going on here as we go into the next several days and weeks where it comes to science. So keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you updated on what may be happening with that and other events that you can possibly get involved in. All right, let's see about, for right now, let's take a look at the tropics, which again, for right now, the very good news is that for the last couple of days, we have now been in hurricane season for just about the weekend. It started on Saturday for the Atlantic. Right now, yes, there are some storm systems out here. No, we're not seeing anything. For the next 2 to 7 days, the National Hurricane Center is not showing any activity showing up in the Atlantic. This used to be an area of concern. Earlier today, the National Hurricane Center for the Eastern Pacific, where hurricane season has been going on since May the 15th. It starts earlier here than it does over here. The storm system down here that you see is just now a discombobulated amount of showers and thunderstorms over parts of the far eastern Pacific, just south of southwestern Mexico. Earlier today, it went down to a 0% threat for the first 2 days and another 0% chance for the next 2 to 7 days after that. And after that, early this afternoon, the National Hurricane Center removed this as a potential development area. Could we see that re-strengthen and become another area of concern? Yes. Hasn't happened in the last update, and we'll see what happens into tomorrow. But right now, the very good news is that through the next about 24 hours, unless something changes, we do not have anything of concern where it comes to the tropics. And that, if you've been paying attention to anything involving the forecast out there, that again could be a bit of an issue. Something to pay attention to, especially, and I know I've harped on this a lot in the last few weather overtimes, but I really want to urge everybody, if you are traveling anything related to the ocean, coastal vacations, Bahamas, ocean cruises, business trips anywhere nearby the coastline, you really want to pay attention to what's going on, because again, you don't want to be heading into an area where you're just going to have to turn right back around and get out of there as a storm system heads in. And again, that's going to cause a great big scrum of people trying to get out of one particular area, and you don't want to be stuck in that with a category whatever breathing down your throat. That's not really the best idea. Respective Orange, when do we have our first hurricane landfall in the Atlantic? On thanks for the question on Twitch. Right now, for right now, if you're asking the question about anything immediate, we don't have anything going on, so that's good news. On average, it really starts to heat up about the time we hit about June into July, and courses of areas after that. So we do have, again, the potential for more activity going on relatively soon. Let me just take 1 second of my time and try to bring up this website. This is a really cool website to take a look at. The title is spaghettimodels.com, so named for the spaghetti models that you take a look at, that numerous different models overlaid on one another. Looks like a mess of a plate of spaghetti. Can't really show it to you right now, but spaghettimodels.com, one of my favorite websites to go to for some very unique and interesting information. This is one of my favorite graphics to take a look at, and the peak of which, this is called the campfire graphic. If you've never seen this before, let me get this website out of the way here real quick. All right, this shows, again, you start to see a bit of a peak taking place right about the beginning of every single month. June, July, and into August, there's just a little bit there for hurricanes and tropical storms. The peak of the season comes about September the 10th, and that's the midpoint out there where the numbers start to fall off, but yet it can be very much on the busy side. So on average, we can get our first hurricane. We had a couple systems actually developed before the beginning of hurricane season this year. They didn't become hurricanes, but last year I believe we had a tropical storm way out in the Atlantic way before June the 1st of 2023. So they can form out there very much on the early side, but usually you start to see it anywhere starting to rise upwards in potential about July and into August. So really a good thing to keep track of and to pay attention to on this as we go into the next several days and months. We'll have a trivia question about the first named hurricane ever to strike the United States. That'll be coming up tomorrow on our friendinroofing.com weather poll of the day. So stay tuned for that. And again, thank you very much for that particular question. All right, nothing going on. Let me get one more thing in here, two more things actually. Water temperatures, again, very much on the warm side. If we get any storm systems coming on through here, it could take advantage of these temperatures well over mid upper 80s. And these are temperatures that are akin to what we see in the Atlantic round about mid to late August. So the water temperatures here are way above where we should be. The ocean temperatures in the Atlantic, the Gulf, and the Caribbean never really had the chance to calm down. Now, what exactly, why haven't we had a system just yet? This could be a very big piece of it. Looking out here, this is the wrong color scheme. Usually, I don't know how that changed, but what you're looking at here over the Atlantic is where we see, again, dust from off of the area of the Sahara. The dust that gets blown off of this area from what is called the Sahel in Western Africa, right along here between Africa and the Atlantic. We're watching more dust getting blown off of this area and getting transported into and over the ocean surface. Now, this dust is very beneficial to the biomes of the tropics and down into and around the rainforest of the Amazon. It's very nice to have all of that around there, but this also has a neat little effect in being able to shelter the surface of the oceans. All that grit and dust up there acts as a filter and filters out some of the sunlight, reflecting that light out into space, and that does a very good job of lowering the amount of hurricanes developing or tropical storms, either way, into this portion of the Atlantic. That's really neat to know about, because this right here, I think, has been a very good reason, another good plume. Let me go forward a little bit there. Another good plume. Again, this is a forecast going on where we expect another storm system to lob a lot of dust out and into the Atlantic. So it's a good possibility that even though the water temperatures are exceptionally way over climate change norms out there, the climate change from fossil fuels is causing the temperatures to rise out there. It's a good possibility that we have not had any systems yet, partially due to the fact that we have had all this dust. Now, if that continues, that might just help keep the number of storms down a little bit. We're hoping anyway. But on the other hand, if we don't get a decent amount of what is going on, that with the dust out there filtering out that energy, the energy in the waters in that first 10, 20, 30 feet of water where it's really, really warm, that is where we see the ACE really start to pick up, available convective energy, ACE. And there are a couple of meteorologists who do a very good job of studying that and watching what goes on. The longer we go without a storm, the worse those storms could possibly be to take advantage of all that energy. So we may see, again, just like with a forest fire, you could have some areas that have the rain and mist and late snows of winter wet down a lot of the forest fire area, so it won't burn quite as quickly. But then you get into that time frame where the dry stuff stacks up, and then those forest fires can take off like a rocket. And that is what we may be seeing here, with all that extra energy building up in the water surface, even with the dust on top of here. we could see a lot of problems develop in the next several days and months. So this is why you really have to watch what is going on with the weather situation if you are traveling anywhere across the coastal United States or otherwise. All right, that's it for the weather for tonight, for the forecast information. Again, thank you very much to Ned Smith, News 12 viewer from Trenton, Georgia, for sending in a beautiful view of sunrise over Lookout Mountain. That's our Monday Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see what you're seeing out there, so please send them in to us at pictures@wdef.com. You can email them to us. Again, you can drop them to our website, brand new section of our website where you can both drop your pictures off and see who else is submitting for the picture of the day, or you can go to our social media pages for more. If you're taking pictures and it has something to do with weather, we would love to see them and show them. We're still getting great pictures of the eclipse and of the aurora from the last few weeks. So we're trying to get to all of those. We do one per day. So if you have those available, please send them in. We'd love to see what you're seeing out there. And a big thank you to everybody else who's been sending in these amazing pictures. So thank you for sending those in out there. Anywhere across the Mid-South or beyond. We'll have some pictures coming up from a little farther afield a little bit later on this week, so stay tuned for more on that. All right, would like to tell you about, where did it go? Let's see, here we go. From the National Weather Service in Morristown, the News 12 area is covered over by 4 different National Weather Service jurisdictions: Nashville, Huntsville, around the area of Morristown, Knoxville, and Atlanta. The National Weather Service in Morristown, which covers most of eastern Tennessee, and the News 12 viewing area in Chattanooga, around the area of Hamilton County, Chattanooga area for Tennessee. This is a great website. If you have weather anxiety, maybe you have a kid that has weather anxiety or a relative, this page is filled with great information about how to deal with that. And I've dealt with anxiety like that from several people who have called or emailed or written in over the years saying, I'm scared of storms, my kid is terrified of storms, what do we do? And this is one of the best pages that I've seen in a long time. There's a ton of information on this page to where you can find out more about how to deal with the anxiety about the weather. And a lot of it is just making certain you know more about what the storms are, what they can do, where they're going, what's happening around you. Just the knowledge of being prepared beforehand is one of the best things that you can possibly do. So if you'd like to take a look at this, and I'm not going to read off all these suggestions because, to be completely honest, it would take me an entire weather overtime. Maybe that would be a good our weather information page, the What I Want to Know show, talking about weather anxiety and what to do about stuff like that. That would be a really cool little separate topic there. But basically, if you go to weather.gov and then click on East Tennessee on the map, or go to MRX, that's the 3-letter code for the National Weather Service in Morristown. And again, if you have information about any other sites that might help on this, children's books to help them understand, I personally suggest if the kids are any younger than about, say, 7 or 8, kind of difficult to see how they might react to it, but I would really recommend going to a Skywarn meeting class, especially if the kids are they find science and weather fascinating, because that class can give adults and kids a better idea as to what needs to be done when it comes to severe weather purposes. That, I think, is one of the best places you could possibly go to learn more about how to relieve anxiety and get yourself ready for severe weather in a very positive, constructive way. It's a good opportunity for everybody out there to both help protect your community and to make certain that you are properly informed about what's going on. You get to ask questions of the National Weather Service meteorologists who teach the courses. Add to that, these courses are not just available in person like they were not so during the pandemic, but especially here with the National Weather Service in Morristown. You can go to their website and they have a virtual Skywarn training program online. That's really cool to be able to see stuff like that. So if you have the opportunity to take the course, or if you know a kid that would benefit from this, Great website to check out. I would very highly recommend it, especially to anybody. When I go to classes and I talk about weather, I ask the entire class, who in here is, by show of hands, a little bit nervous when the skies start getting dark, the wind starts blowing, the adults start talking about tornado warnings, and more than a few kids raise their hands, as do a few adults. And I point that out to the kids so they can see, oh, okay, so adults aren't necessarily totally not afraid of everything. Some people have some very deep-seated phobias, and I tell them, that's okay. That's your brain trying to tell you you may have to react. But the key is to make certain that you are not paralyzed by the fear. That's one of the best things you can do, is know how to react, know when to react, and know a little bit more about what needs to be done when it comes to reaction and preparation beforehand for severe weather. I ask the kids, where do you go at school? They say the hallway in between the classrooms, and they know more about what needs to be done in a quick second than a lot of adults that I know that don't even know which county they're in or where their safe place is at work, going shopping, at home, in an apartment building, wherever. That's being weather aware. That's knowing what goes on to make certain that you are safe no matter where you may happen to go. So again, something to think about there. All right, so for tonight, one more check of the forecast. Low temperatures, not all that low, only going to be back into the mid to upper 60s, and that's going to be about as good as it gets for the overnight period. So I really just don't think we're going to be seeing much in the way of cooler weather anytime soon, and doubtful we're going to be picking up much of anything else in the way of frost, it looks like, until probably we've turned that corner a long time ago, and that's going to be a long time before we get all the way into that particular location. So going to have to deal with the very warm weather out there for the next several days and weeks. But fortunately, right now, getting into June, this is going to be increasingly hotter as we go toward July, August, and September. So we haven't even hit the very warm conditions, the hot conditions. I hate the three-letter H word, but it's going to be out there someplace, and we'll have to pay attention to that and figure out ways to stay cool over the course of the next several days and weeks. So get ready for the hotter temperatures, because they will be on their way. All right, I think that should do it. We've been on for about 36 minutes. That's a record for tonight. So we'll go ahead and toss it back to your regular Monday night schedule. Chip Chapman will have your forecast bright and early tomorrow morning, starting at 5 a.m. And, of course, I'll be back tomorrow. Again, please remember there might be the threat of severe weather. It's a low threat, but it's one we need to pay attention to. So keep it tuned to News 12. Again, the website, bottom of the screen, wdef.com/weather, if you'd like to find out a little bit more about what's going on there. Again, thanks for joining us for Monday night, the first Monday of June. Stay tuned for more on News 12 at 11 tonight with Andrew Harrison and Rick Nyman on news and sports, respectively. And we'll have a lot more on our website, again, wdef.com/weather. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online. And we'll catch you again for Weather Overtime